I'm not trying to say that straight
Okay.
trucks and box trucks ain't needed.
Right.
When it comes down to it, is the label,
Okay.
the adjective and describing them.
Okay.
And for us, when they talk about the skill
Yes.
that it requires to do it.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's where the straight truck or the box truck driver get delusional.
All right.
Because he wants to compare his skill and his contribution to society as if he is like what the semi, the super trucker is.
What's up, KT? How you doing?
Hey, how you doing today, my beautiful co-host?
Welcome back to the lounge. We missed you last time we recorded.
I think you got that backwards.
No.
We've been missing you. Yeah, you've been missing that ash.
No, but you missed the last one. You did.
Oh, okay. Well,
yeah.
Well, you know.
But we're here back together. That's the important thing.
I am a truck driver.
This is true.
This podcast is not coming from corporate America. Yeah, it coming from a truck stop in the middle of nowhere to a theater near you.
Oh, wow.
Absolutely.
Okay. So how are you feeling today?
I feel good, man. You know, a lot of my attitude during this time of year is predicated on how my sports team does. Because, you know, I'm born and raised in the Bible Belt, you know, in football or religion where I'm from. So,
okay.
Yeah.
And how did your team do over the weekend?
So far, so good. You know what I mean?
Good.
I'm still kind of disappointed, you know, how they looked on the field or whatnot.
But is a W a W no matter how it happens?
Yeah, absolutely. That's how I've been coached.
Okay,
That's how I've been taught. W is a W. At the end of the year, if you accomplish the goals that you set for yourself, nobody cares how you got there.
Okay, all right. So are you ready to get into another great episode today?
Oh, yeah, I'm ready to have a good time, man. I know this subject right here, you know, after we had our pre-meeting, this will be good, man. This will be hilarious, you know, especially for those who might be a little sensitive. Absolutely.
So this is a disclaimer for the sensitive people out there. This may not be the episode for them.
No, me personally, I like to crush the weak.
Oh, ooh.
Yeah, man. I crush the weak. I don't have no empathy for sensitivity, especially coming from the male perspective.
All right, then. Well, we will not hesitate any further, so we'll go ahead and jump right into it.
I'm ready.
All right, then. Welcome to Azigos, where we talk raw, real, and unfiltered about the trucking industry, the good, the bad, and the ugly. But we don't just leave it there. We also empower those ready to reclaim and drive the future of the trucking industry. So come on into the lounge. That's Azigos, the Truckers Lounge. And in today's episode, we are talking about the big question, the big comparison. Are box truck drivers real drivers, or are they just playing delivery boy? Ooh. Ouch. That may hurt a few people.
Yeah. I don't think they playing delivery boy. I think they are delivery boys.
Oh, wait. You were supposed to hold your verdict to the end, but you're going to go ahead and...
I ain't no need me to play with y'all.
Okay. All right.
I'll give it to you
but
raw.
let me repeat what the topic is today.
Go ahead.
Are box drivers, are they real truck drivers?
Box truck drivers.
Box truck drivers.
Straight truck drivers.
Straight truck drivers. And so when we say box truck drivers, what are we talking about? We're talking about like your Amazon, right? Like your FedEx truck drivers. Are those?
Oh, that's more like a milk truck.
Okay.
But they really, they all bunched in together. That's more like a milk truck. But when we talking like box truck drivers,
yes.
I keep saying truck driver because they don't convince me. They say, hey, if you tell a lie loud enough and long enough, you tend to believe it.
Okay.
But nah, like, for as a box truck or a straight truck, they don't have the main thing is there's no combination. There's no combination. It's all considered put together. So it's no attachment. So when you're talking about semi trucks and the big trucks, you know what I mean? You have the combination. That means you're going to have a fifth wheel.
Yes.
And the trailer is not attached to the truck.
Okay. All right.
So box truck and straight trucks, those trucks are attached actual to the engine or the cab.
All right. So in determining whether or not they are air quotes, real drivers.
Right.
Okay, we're going to compare a couple of areas.
They real drivers, they just Class C drivers.
Okay.
I don't really recognize Class B.
Okay, but we want to really compare them in certain areas. So we're going to compare them in terms of skill, the skill differences between the two.
Right.
We'll compare them when it comes to the credentials. You kind of almost said a little bit about the classes, but we'll go into a little bit further detail. We'll talk about comparison when it comes to industry demand, and then maybe touch on maybe even some pay differences. So can we go through those few categories?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Let's go.
All right, so let's jump into it. Let's talk about the skill differences. When you talk about skill differences, because the mechanics of the truck, which you were just about to touch on, are so different, it requires a different level of skill. Because you were just saying with the box truck, everything's attached, but with the 18-wheeler, you were saying the trailer is not attached to the engine. So talk a little bit more about that. Because it's not attached, more skill, when you say arguably, is required for the 18-wheeler. Like when you're talking about a clutch and shifting and, gear control. So what kind of skill is required for an 18-wheeler versus a driver of the box truck?
Okay, well, I like to try to keep it layman as possible.
Okay.
The biggest difference is one, your auntie or your grandma can hop in one and take those pies that she want to take to the church, or those items. One, she can hop in to get that delivery done, and one, she can't.
Okay.
You follow me? That's the main difference, because you're not hopping into, I could never have driven a vehicle before, or maybe just drove like a car or something like that, and I can hop into a straight truck,
a box truck,
in any type of situation, and I can hop in it and do what I need to do.
I mean, it sounds like a U-Haul to me.
It's definitely a U-Haul. Okay. It's a U-Haul with a DOT number slapped on the side of the door. That's all it is. So, the reason I talk about it in such a, some would say a derogatory way, because what you have here, you got certain influencers, people, on the street, and especially when they trying to sue or pursue somebody and impress somebody, they'll say they're a truck driver, right? And so now the real truck driver has been lumped in with your local delivery boy.
Okay.
That when it comes to money, access, and the ability to thrive. You follow what I'm saying? And so I watch these jokers, man. They, they go in the grocery store or they at the mall, they got the headset on, they trying to holler at something they think look nice or look whatever, and the first thing they want to say, oh, I'm a truck driver.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? And now you don't convoluted the industry, because and then I watch you get, walk out the facility. You follow me? If I happen to watch and we happen to come out at the same time, I'm seeing you walk to a U-Haul truck or something that's basically with a different paint job.
Okay.
And you don't told individuals out there that you're a truck driver, and you know it's two different. Two different levels, two different degrees.
Two different levels of skill.
So basically,
because even when I think about being on the roads, when you see the 18-wheelers trying to back into spaces, trying to make turns on
side streets, and he got 50, 60 feet behind him.
Oh my
60
goodness.
to 70 feet behind him. You have a 4-wheeler that don't understand what the white line at the light mean, or the white line that's going across. They don't recognize that. You know what I mean? They don't even understand that. So you got to fit 70, 60 feet into that area, you know what I'm saying? That requires a real skill.
Right.
Right.
And having to back up into tight spots.
Right. And when you're backing a straight truck versus when you're backing a semi, a combination truck, everything really goes backwards. You're driving the trailer.
Yes.
You see what I'm saying? And so that takes a unique skill.
Right.
While at the same time, you have your front end bending a totally different way. So don't lower the degree of a semi truck driver and try to put y'all in the same category.
Which is why they have schools for the 18-wheelers, right?
They have school. Ain't no school out there for the box truck.
No schools for the box truck.
I mean, you got to pass the test.
Right.
You know what I mean? When you go, because what it's specifically called when you're talking about in the professional world, it's called a Class B license.
Right.
But you don't have to have a Class B license to drive a straight truck or a box truck. It's all depending on weight and what we call air brakes.
Okay, so that's the perfect segue into our next segment, which is the credentialing. So you don't even have to have a Class B for a box truck, but for the semi truck, you have to have what type of class?
You have to have a Class A license.
A Class A license, right, which requires you to go to school.
First letter of the alphabet.
Okay.
Class A.
How long is the typical schooling to get a Class A license?
When you go to school, they usually, I don't know, man, because it's been so long for me. You know, you talking about 2 decades at least with me. But I think in schools out there, you go for 3 to 4 weeks, and really they don't teach you how to drive. They just teach you how to pass the test at your local DMV.
Okay,
you don't know how to drive when you go to those schools. You just learn and memorize, how to do a pre-trip, and you do the little course, and they teach you little tricks or whatever, keys to pay attention to.
Yep.
So when you do your back and you don't have to do too many resets, but you really don't learn how to drive until you get out on the road, with a trainer.
But it actually doesn't stop there. Like, you guys also need what, DOT medical card?
You got to have a medical card.
Do you need that for a box truck driver?
Depends. If you're gonna do one that's if you talking about 26,000 pounds over, you will need a DOT card.
And what is that DOT card for? Why do you need it as a semi truck driver?
It's basically a reflection on truck drivers during my time or before when I first jumped in the industry. Like I told y'all before in previous episodes, we live life like a rock star. You know what I mean? Because we got them thigh pads. For those who don't know what that mean, we were making that money, and so we disregarded our health. We did everything to the max.
Right.
And so they find out we started dying on the road, or they worried about us, falling asleep at the wheel. But that's where the recreational activities coming about. Okay. Where all that stuff been,
Yes.
They on top of it. But so you have to have a DOT. So basically they want to know that you're healthy enough to drive a truck and not fall asleep at the wheel.
Okay. And then, but generally for the average box truck, no physical requirement.
It just depends. Like I say, it depends if they want to drive a box truck that can carry heavier weight.
But if they're on the lighter end,
if you got your local shoe signer or knucklehead or your barber, you're hearing about how much money. Because he's thinking box truck is the real trucking industry,
right.
Which it's the last mile, but really is the delivery boy. What you really need to do if you're gonna be doing a box truck is you really need to be doing a strength test to make sure you can carry boxes and bend, and make sure you still got that flexibility. That's what I require, because really what we paying for is your labor. Okay. We ain't paying for your skill if you're in a box truck. We paying for your labor.
Paying for the labor.
Okay. Absolutely. Go ahead.
All right. Next comparison: industry demand and where they sort of fit in the larger logistics supply chain. Like you just mentioned this, like box trucks are typically last mile delivery. Explain to the people what that typically means.
Last mile is like getting in residentials or even commercial, or a lot of construction. Tractor trailers can't, drive in those conditions, and so they won't fit or whatever. So that's when you have the box truck to go to the, if you order something out. Amazon has really made the straight truck and the box truck, they have taken it to another level,
right?
Because people, the convenience are ordering off of the internet or whatever. That straight truck. Or, some people do it out their cars.
Okay.
It's just the last mile to get into spots or spaces that can't fit like 70 feet a truck. Right.
Okay. And so, box trucks really when you think of the entire supply chain, the box trucks are kind of almost more local, kind of more, the last 50 mile. They're taking the cargo to the person's front door.
The big trucks, they bring it from the manufacturing or from the ships or the trains. They bring it to the warehouses or the distribution centers.
Right.
And then where they holding and stocking the material or the commodity. And then the smaller truck usually take it, or cars or whatever you want to call it, or the milk truck. They usually take it to your local mom and pop stores or, take it to somebody's house or something like that. They order something offline or something like that.
Now, while both may be important.
Both are important.
However, if you cut off one, which one would you argue is more critical to supply chains? Would the country starve if last mile? Both of them will starve. I'm not trying to say that straight trucks and box trucks ain't needed. Right.
When it comes down to it, is the label,
the
adjective in describing them,
and
for us when it talking about the skill that it requires to do it.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's where I had the straight truck or the box truck driver get delusional.
All right.
Because he wants to compare his skill and his contribution to society as if he is like what the super trucker is.
Okay. Is there a shortage for either type of driver?
There's never a shortage for box trucks because, like I said, it doesn't require skill. You know what I mean? It might take more skill to be a forklift operator than a box truck. I don't did it both.
Okay.
So I'm not speaking from non-experience. I don't did it both.
Right.
And yeah, you can get anybody to drive a box truck.
Okay.
But, you got to have a special mindset and a level of skill to drive a semi.
And then for those who want to jump into the industry, particularly if they want to be self-employed, the investment is even different. The investment is definitely lower for those who want to go the box truck route, right?
And be able to, be like you own a trucking company like Country Rain or something like that. And then I look and see the video, he got a bunch of box trucks out there.
Wow. Okay.
Shout out to Country Rain.
Okay.
Right. Yeah, the commitment, the overhead or whatnot is definitely the overhead is, if you want to own your own trucking company, it's lower with the box truck than it is.
And you would have to watch one of our earlier videos we did when we talk about jumping into and what all you need if you're trying to do owner operator and the cost for that. We've done a video on that. So you'll have to go look at one of our earlier episodes. Okay, so there's a difference.
Definitely.
So then, is there a difference with pay for our final comparison?
Man, it's funny you said that because one of my partners, one of my brothers, man, like I said, I don't like to use specific names, but he's a straight truck driver. Okay. He's a box truck driver.
Yes.
And he been at his company for over 20 years and he's complaining, talking about they don't really care about him because he's not making enough money.
Okay.
He don't feel like he's being valued, as an employee.
Wow.
And so I had to listen to him talk all that BS, but in all actuality, man, you're trying to compare yourself because we got other friends. All us have class A's, man. We all done stepped up our game, man.
Right.
And you want to compare your rate of pay to the type of money that we generating and that we bringing in.
Right.
And good and well in your heart of hearts that it ain't the same.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? So yeah, I'm not these companies, or even if I had my own company or box truck or whatever, you got to be out of your cotton picking mind if you think I'm going to pay you. Or you supposed to be making the type money that somebody who's out there operating 70 to 60 feet and the combination and being safe and able to do it safely and not damage the equipment. If you think I'm finna pay you the same type of money,
right?
Like I say, they delusional. They think 'cause they get a headset, You know what I mean? They feel like, they feel like they official.
Okay.
You let me know in the comments if I'm wrong.
Right.
Let me know in the comments if you feel differently.
So, what's interesting too is, there's been a lot of policy changes. We don't know whether or not, at one point people argued that the trucking industry was saturated with drivers, right? But it'll be interesting to see how the new laws, especially around English proficiency, impacts, whether or not there'll be a shortage with the Class A drivers, the semi-truckers, how that will impact. Because I think there's even been additional policies with, they're not renewing visas, people who had visas to be able to drive. So all those people are getting ready to get purged, out of the trucking industry who are holding Class A. So it'll be interesting to see how things sort of unfold over the next few years. So,
and I was having a discussion with one of my other partners, and we was talking about the same thing. He feel like they use a shortage of truck drivers as a pun, you know what I mean, to saturate the industry. And I was telling him I feel differently, because it's always gonna be a shortage of truck drivers, because you have so many truck drivers who have a CDL who's not even using it.
High turnover.
Because they frustrated. Yeah, they just frustrated with the industry because they don't feel like they get respected for the sacrifice. Because if the skill don't get you, then the mental capacity, you know what I'm saying, the desire to be in the community, a fixture in the community, they feel like they missing out on everything and all that. So you got a lot of jokers that got Class A CDLs that is just in their pocket and they doing something else. So it's everything that you see comes here by a truck. I was reading something else where they said it's every truck driver say they like, we ain't doing nothing. The country will fall apart in 72 hours.
Right.
Everybody want to watch the movies talking about if we lose satellite in the internet and all that. 72 hours.
Wow.
That's all it would take. And see, the problem with, what I'm saying, people with the CDL and the big trucks, they got this mentality, and it's going to be controversial because I'm here with a beautiful woman, but a lot of them have a female mind state. They feel like that the industry gonna feel sorry for them.
Okay.
They feel like the industry gonna be like, oh, okay, that's enough. We prove no, that's not how business work. You gonna have to save yourself.
Okay.
We're not gonna give it to you.
Okay.
Either you gonna take it. Either you gonna learn, leverage, you know what I mean, and change your situation, or it's not gonna change. We're gonna continue to crush.
Okay.
So it's your fault if you don't value your skill or your contribution.
Okay.
Right. Ain't nobody gonna give you nothing, man. Ain't no reparations gonna happen in trucking.
Okay.
Get a little amped up.
All right. Well, there you have it. So in terms of the comparison, whether or not box truck drivers are real truck drivers, the answer is we'll let you decide. But they're both important to the logistics industry, to the trucking industry, but there is a difference in terms of skill set.
And I don't want to interrupt. You can't move like I move, delivery guy. You see what I'm saying? Because I'm generating exponentially more than what you doing. So stop telling these women out here that you truck drivers. Tell them what you are. You are a delivery boy. You follow me? And that's not to degrade you. It's just that you degrading people in my sector by comparing yourself to me. Because now when I go out there in these streets or whatever and they find out I'm a truck driver, then they like, oh, you just a truck driver. But it's levels to this S-H-I-T.
Okay.
It's levels to it.
Okay, thank you for not saying the word. All right, well, we're getting ready to head out, wrap up this episode. Thank you for joining us. Please put your comments below about how you feel about the differences between box truck drivers and our big riggers, as he would say.
Big riggers, big trucks, big profits. I'm telling you, there's tools and platforms out there, and this is not just for the drivers. This is for the ladies too. And when you got that gentleman coming up, it's apps out there to where you can see a listing of who is really a big truck driver or who has their own business. You can look it up on the app. And of course, for the drives and stuff, you can get yourself registered on that app as well. You know what I mean? To learn how to start leveraging and, making the most money that you can make. And we taking care of ourselves instead of waiting on Big Brother to do it for us.
All right. Any closing remarks? Anything else?
That was a closing remark, but I just want to let you know, big truck, big profits. And if you don't have a rock star mentality, then big truck driving ain't for you.
Okay. Until next time. Take care and join us in the lounge. That's Azigos, the Truckers Lounge. Peace.